sedikit more information about myself. And first of all, I'm really glad to be part of or to present the topic of AI and to sharing my knowledge to all. So I think this is really good opportunity for me to share what I have done in what we call in artificial intelligence, the project and so on with the student. So may I share a slide first? Okay, you guys see my screen, right?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So, okay. The last 2 days, my friends called me if and asking about me if I can share the topic about this. So it took 2 days, then I think I can manage it. So this is the topic that given to me, the application of AI in science and engineering. So this is I will discuss this later with you, and you guys after presentation maybe you can ask any question that we can elaborate and we can discuss and share. Okay, so a little bit about my university. So I'm from the University Sultan Zainal Abidin, they call UNISZA. So I think Brunei also have a quite similar name, UNISZA, but without Z. So we are a public university in Malaysia and located in east coast of Malaysia, Terengganu. So Terengganu is people more know about Terengganu with the beautiful beach and the island. So I'm really glad if you like to welcome or you do want to compose the study here to the PhD or master, and if you want to have a collaboration, I think it's really good because our campus is just, you see the campus is also near the beach, okay? And we also have many Indonesian students here. So it's a really good thing. Then this is a little bit about myself. So I think I'm not go through about this. Okay. Then before I start, once again, I like to thanks to the Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya, right? This name.
Right.
Okay. For inviting me to give a talk about the topic. So we go to what we want to discuss today. What is AI? Artificial Intelligence. Kalau dalam bahasa Melayunya kita panggil kecerdasan buatan. Kalau Indonesia saya tak pasti apa ya. Tapi kalau di Malaysia, kalau bahasa Melayunya kecerdasan buatan.
Sama, Doktor.
Sama? Okay.
Ya,
okay.
Sama.
Biasanya kalau bahasa Malaysia baku atau bahasa Malaysia yang sebetulnya memang hampir sama dengan bahasa Indonesia. Cuma bila kita speak, orang Malaysia lebih banyak bahasa yang tak rasmi, yang itulah English and so on. Okay, what is artificial intelligence? So the first is, when we talk about artificial intelligence, we want to create something that human-like, that artificial intelligence. The sifatnya seperti manusia. So when we talk about human-likes, then the first thing that come out of my mind is the emotion, the intelligence in our head. So can we make robot of this? Okay. Can the robot feel something? Can the robot feel sad? So this is what we call a human-like. Okay. Then we also rational-like. We know what to achieve goals, have performance and measures. Should fit what we call AI.
Oh,
okay.
Assalamualaikum. Apa yang ada dia kan?
Okay, ada tekan. Okay, okay, that's good. Boleh kenal? Boleh dengar ke? Okay.
Ya.
Tapi it's normal bila ada noise on the tu macam ni. Okay. This is kalau kita tengok, if you have a movie by the Steven Spielberg, they have a movie that called AI about a kid, a robot kid that want to be a human. I think that's the concept of AI that you realize that's AI is all about. So we want to create human-like. Yeah. If you want to create a robot that can think, that is AI, okay, artificial intelligence. but how it can be the same with the human intellectual is another a big question to answer. Yeah. Then we go to the next slide. Okay. And it's about the thought processes, the exciting new effort to make computer think, machine with mind in the full of literal sense. The concept of AI is not today, it's already exists more than 50 years ago during the World War II. If you we talk about the Alan Turing age and so on. But now it's more what we call people more talk about AI after the 20th century because the application, we see the application. For example, the simple thing of what the AI achieves now, if you have an iPhone, of course you have what we call that a friend that without a face. iPhone, you have what we call in iPhone you have a Siri. Then on Amazon you have an Alexa that you can ask many things, then it can answer the question. So this is example of how AI used in the system process. Then when we talk about AI, also we not miss with this man, what we call it the Alan Turing. So AM Turing. There's also one movie about the Turing. It's also interesting thing to see the movie, to know more about them, more about the Turing himself. How he create, he become like the father of AI. They call him father of AI. One of his best creation is he create a machine that can decode enigma. So during the World War II, most of German success is because they can what we call they share the information that cannot break it by the code, that alliance cannot interpret. They're using the enigma. Then it's really good machine. But then Turing come and create the machine, and it can decode the machine, and finally then it can break the code that created by the enigma. So this is one of the reason why alliance win the war, why British, why the American win the war. Because in the war, it's not about the war, physical war. It's all about information war, the data war. So this is one of really important topic. That's come with AI. Then what I want to talk about here is about the AI test. If you want to know the AI test by the Turing, this is how you want to see something that can think. Okay, there are 2 person, then 1 machine for the test. One person become the integrator, and another person become a person who being asked, or person that try to answer the question, and it's separated by the room. Okay, then this integrator asks the question for both the machine and to the person. If the integrator, okay, cannot differentiate which one is machine, which one is human, then this is the high intelligence that give to the machine. So this is what it's all about. So how you want to make a machine think like a human. That's the basic AI. So AI is a very big area. So under AI, you have if you are dealing with that, you have the machine learning, and under machine learning, you have all the statistics, and you have data science and many other things. So I'm not touched on that because I think based on topic that given to me, is I go to the what we call the umbrella of this. I'm not go to the deep to the algorithm and so on. So okay, this I thought some people is quite confused between an AI, between data mining, between the machine learning, between the deep learning. So this is one of what we call definition. It may have a different definition, but I like to focus this 4 definition because it's quite make a clear boundary between that. So AI, yeah, good operation expert system, rule engine, optimization method, and multiple logic. Data mining, knowledge discovery in data, and method using a method to solve the problem. Machine learning, ability to modify itself when exposed to more data. Deep learning, deep neural network, part of machine learning. But normally AI is the main thing of our IQC is the umbrella of all these things. Okay. One of important thing in AI is machine learning. Machine learning is a machine learned by itself. And the one is what we call that robotic, that using the reinforcement learning. So in machine learning, there are three types of supervised, or sorry, there are two types of algorithm or categories. One is supervised, another one unsupervised, and the third one is reinforcement learning. So this reinforcement learning is more to make a machine think like a human. So machine learning, this is for data. Then a simplified machine learning process. This is I want to share a little bit about machine learning. Part of AI is we want to make the machine recognize between the motorcycle and the car. Okay, so this is part of AI process, recognize, kan, pattern recognition, untuk mengenal pasti. Untuk itu adalah peringkat awal untuk pada artificial intelligence before I go to the thinking, right? So how you want to recognize this thing is what we call the next step is feature. If you see this one is a feature extraction. So feature extraction means you try to give tell what is a car look like, what is a motorcycle look like to the machine. So this is part of the training process. So this is feature extraction is discussed of all the attribute. Contohnya kalau manusia, kalau features dia ada kaki, ada tangan, ada kepala. So this is apa ni, dia punya attribute, ciri-ciri, kalau kita panggil bahasa Melayu ciri-ciri. So this all feature extraction we identify and go to the training. So when come here, machine learning learn to differentiate between car and motorcycle. So then we make inference. So if the new picture come, so this machine learning can tell whether it's car, it's motorcycle, or another thing that is not recognized yet. So this is the simplified machine learning process. This is standard process if you want to create what we call to another level of AI. Even if you see the robotic, it also have the same process, identifying, what we call recognizing, and if you want to make a robot that can talk, that can give a feedback, is more to another area that we call the NLP, Natural Language Processing. So, siapa kenal Sophia? You have a Sophia, kan? Kalau okay, lepas ni you try to Google Sophia. Sophia, robot yang pertama mendapat kerajaan Arab Saudi. The Arab Saudi gives citizenship to this robot, and it appeared in many talk shows. You see that how Sophia is what we call when we talk, and you give answer as quick as can and with emotion. I think this is happened now. I think this is happened 5 years ago, Sophia. So this is more to what we call the AI, to create humanoid, human or machine thinking like a human. When I go to when I present a topic on AI, I present a topic in AI in Scotland. One of question, I think it's a question that asked by the audience is, do AI replace humans someday? Okay, I think it's one first thing is quite what we call it's not a really question. It's more to Hollywood type of movie. But then from 5 to 6 experts there, 5 of them says this thing is become someday. But for me, of course, as I'm a Muslim, I think this whatever we make, we never will be same what we have, the emotion. But what I can say is the thing is go there now. The thing is going to there now. So this is part of the process of AI from machine learning. Then this is I want because we don't have too many time. I don't want to go more detail about this. Then so it's learning is mean we want to represent something, we evaluate something, we optimize something. That is the process of learning process, another explication of learning process. Then I go to the application. So when I go to the application, this is example of application that use in AI. What that's called when we talk about AI, you cannot run with the machine learning, deep learning, and we call another sector. That if you want to talk about machine learning, I think this is another talk that we want to talk. So another time that we can talk. So part of how AI used in the healthcare of you see the healthcare, so many things that happen now. So it's with the device, with the IoT, this device, such as whatever thing, they give a signal. For example, signal, they give data. If you have a phone, it give a text data. So this kind of data, whether it's structured is more like the database, or unstructured, signal, voice, image, it can be processed and giving an output and give to how human think. So it's using the healthcare. I think we see when the COVID-19 happened, there are a lot of things that use AI to interpret or to counter with the COVID-19. So final, of course, many things using the finance, the fraud detection, trade oversight, then insurance, to retail, security, industry. Okay, I want to touch about because I think one of the topic is using in engineering application. Okay, there are too many. I think is too many application that we want to tell. If you want, I want to tell if ataupun saya nak ceritakan jika melibatkan penggunaan AI dalam engineering. Okay, terlalu banyak. Okay, I give example. For the oil and gas engineering, reservoir, they're using the AI to estimate the best time or the optimum value to what we call to take the oil to harvest the oil from the sea, and they'll also give a signal that security signal that help avoid a disaster happen. So this is part of using in oil and gas engineering. And in transportation, you use what we call that autonomous driving machine. I forget the name, but the machine or the car that have no driver. You see that this only we see the movie before, but if I think that it's become real now, Tesla have a prototype. So the car is can drove by itself. So we just go there and we take the car and we go to wherever we want to go. But I think it cannot implement in Malaysia road, right? Because we have a very not very good road except for the highway. I think the same thing was in a certain country. So now what the car that can drive is mostly is the highway that is we call that predictable highway. You have one straight highway, you have the lane, you have a right what we call the line, because they're using the camera to detect, using the camera to detect, to estimate, and to drive the car. So this is kind of information. If you want to do AI, you need to have all this data, the information. But on unpredictable road, this is more challenging. So many people, many vendor is working toward right now. Like if you have too many what we call cornering road that make impact on your drive, then the machine need to have more predictable idea. Okay. The good thing for the machine, they have very fast thing to do the calculation. But to understand the reason, to know that again, to make the decision, this is depend on our to make our algorithm to make right. So this is kind of interesting thing happen. So for marketing, of course, it's using many and so this is type of application that I wanted. Then another thing that I want to talk about, I think how many minutes that I have? Ten.
Yes.
10 minutes. 10. Okay. So I think I can go another topic. Is quite the first topic I introduced is what is AI, what is happen now. Then next topic I wanted to introduce is what happened in the future, what on the current research now. So this is what we call, okay, what version of future. So we have many version of future, kan? This is more elaborate or more we see in the cinema, like the AI movie that I talked before. This is really interesting movie that if you want to talk about AI, the kid that want to be a real kid. So that's the issue. Or we have the version of what this movie is called iRobot. So iRobot is quite interesting movie because when you see AI, when we make a mission program, we're giving the rule base. So in this movie, I think they have 3 rules in the movie. So the rule number 1, I don't know, but the rule number 3 is whatever the reason, the safety of the human is the first. That's the rule number 3. Okay. This is to avoid what we call that the robot can harm human. But the just part for this director is how the AI is what we call evolved to the next level. Okay, based on this true rule, they generate another rule. This is how AI is happen. The rule that want to make a human safe, the only rule that want to make human safe is put all human in the house. They cannot go outside the house. So this is how AI is evolved. This is we call AI. Based on if you want to give 3 rules and he generate another rule, that's another level. Ini yang dinamakan kecerdasan buatan, macam mana dia sesuatu mesin itu berfikir apa rule yang kita bagi, apa peraturan yang kita bagi, dia akan belajar sendiri, self-learn and create another rule, another thinking untuk buat something. This is the next AI. This is all about. And the last one, of course, you know this guy is Terminator, right? Datang and kill all the human. So this is what the Arnold Schwarzenegger do. Okay, or he saves human. So what version of AI? Then it's quite same thing. If we talk about the Stephen Hawking had tell that strong AI will take off on its own and redesign at an ever increasing rate. This we call strong AI. Human or unlimited slow biological evolution could compete and will supersede. So this is what we call prophecy by one of the influenced men in science, Stephen Hawking himself, that say that one day AI will supersede human. So this is really challenging thing to us, and maybe now we cannot think. Maybe now we don't think so or whatever. But I think most of Sarjana Barat, most of scholars from the West agree with this theory. So there are 4 waves of AI. So the first wave is 70. I say that the 50 is already start normally. The second wave is about learning, character, and learn. And the third wave, now we are the third wave is the process that you want to understand why the AI give the reason, why the AI make the decision. So now we are the third wave, what we call that a new term. I think not really new, it's already 2 years. What we call that explainable artificial intelligence. What we call that XAI. So it's Now we in the third wave, and the fourth wave is not far from here, another 8 years by this prediction from the DARPA. DARPA is one of the international, what we call the defense of American that create the internet, so that DARPA. So they say that fourth wave is about that AI come to learn itself, boleh buat keputusan sendiri. So this is the fourth wave. In the third wave, kita nak tahu kenapa AI tu buat decision. Sebab the second wave, we only know that now second wave ni what happen now is AI can make decision, but we not understand why the AI make decision. For example, in engineering, you say that in the oil and gas, you say that you need to take this amount if you want to avoid disaster. If you want to invest this amount, it just give that, but we don't understand why the AI, why the machine tell that. So this is what we call the third wave. We want to understand. We want to understand why this happened. So this is the concept of current AI is the black box, which is we don't understand what it is AI is talk about, why it take the decision. So this is current state of AI, kan? Then this is today. It tell what do you do, why not something else, when you succeed, when you fail. But tomorrow, we can understand why. Kita boleh tahu juga why, understand why not. Bila it's more to explainable. Now, if you would say that most popular method is deep learning, but it's not explainable. But now next is more to explainable. So understanding machine model is build interpret machine learning, and yang next is untuk derive or untuk understand why the model is taken. So I think I pass my time, just 1 more minute. Okay, this is categorization of AI. If you like to know about the CSI, maybe someday another talk. So this is what we call that explainable AI. So if you want to have something, you need to have algorithm to make this understandable. So I think with that, I think this is all my presentation. Thank you. So I take any question if you can.
Yes, sure. Okay, thank you, Dr. Azwa. I think some students already gave me the question. Maybe this is the first question that what do you think about the job vacancies nowadays? Because I think most of humans are worried nowadays. Kecerdasan buatan ini it's so like act like human, so it means that the job in a human, it can be replaceable with the machine. So what do you think about how to face the job vacancies now, because so many machine already being the AI?
Yeah. I think this is a really good question, because it happened now when we talk the IR 4.0 industrial revolution. We have first generation, second about industry, third IT, and the fourth is now. Most of the job is taken by the human, and most of the job that exists dulu but not exist anymore. Yeah. It's banyak kan. For example, kalau kita tengok dari segi apa ni kita panggil, kalau di Malaysia panggil wartawan, the paper, the surat khabar, the newspaper. Okay. Now most of people, they just read online through they using the news portal. It's not just a normal paper. That kalau dulu biasa sama juga di Indonesia ya. Orang tua pastinya ke kedai diminum dah buka paper, minum kopi dan sambil buka paper, kan?
Yeah.
Buka surat khabar untuk melihat apa berita. Tapi sekarang ini sudah tidak ada. Dan ini jarang ada. Ini menyebabkan the journalist, the wartawan memberi impact that most of the journalists, one of a job that decrease is journalism. So it's more to a thing. And another thing, of course, in a factory, It's happened now. Once happened, it's happened a long time ago. Now it take more. And the question is, we cannot deny, okay, this thing will replace most of the thing. Most of the thing is replaced. And in order to avoid that, in order untuk mengelak kita kerugian or mengelak kita kehilangan kerja, I think the only way is we need to involve with this technology, kan, untuk menguasai teknologi. That's why I think it's really important for the student, for whatever background, no matter you are from the engineering, no matter from the computer science, no matter you're from social study, you need to have another skill set that's really important is to understand the data, to interpret the data. So to using all this data, because now we not talk about the IR 4.0. This now happen now is IR 5.0. So of course kita tidak boleh menghalang, we cannot deny menghalang ini berlaku dan ia akan berlaku. Yang boleh saya katakan, kalau boleh kita, ini adalah kita kuasai ilmu tersebut. The IR 4.0, you need to know this technology untuk capture this thing. Okay, I think that's my answer for the questions.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. And there is another question about what kind of algorithm, apa yang harus kita pelajari untuk mempelajari artificial intelligence? Apakah ada algoritma yang harus kita pelajari, Dokter?
Okay, when we talk about machine learning or algorithm, before you learn algorithm, you need to understand the tool that always people using of AI. So I think this current demand, the current need, of course, you need to learn the Python and R. I think this is two more what we call that data science language that everyone I think need to learn about it. So I think if you are from Python, is not really. I mean, compared to another language like the C, the C++ or Java, Python is quite a straightaway language. I think if you focus on that, so many people can learn about that. Then after you're familiar with the tool, then you learn about the technique. This time, you learn about the algorithm. So like I say that we have supervised, unsupervised, and another thing is reinforcement learning. The algorithm, that's not perfect of any kind of case solution. It needs to be based on the case study itself. Some algorithm is good in this case, but not good in another case. Faham maksud saya? Algorithm tersebut kadang-kadang sesuai untuk masalah yang macam ni. Tapi kalau kalian implement dalam masalah yang lain, dia tidak sesuai. So itu yang maksud saya, this is you need a skill. But if you think about apa algoritma yang famous sekarang, apa yang berlaku di dunia sekarang, dan yang juga boost atau meningkatkan AI, the algorithm itu adalah algoritma yang kita panggil sebagai deep learning. This is deep learning is another type of neural network that involve more detail on how the AI think. So this is one of a good algorithm that you need to kuasai. But like I said earlier, this is based on the case. You need to understand all algorithm too. Okay. Thank you. Yang mana lagi? Ada lagi? Okay.
Yes. I think one last question, Dokter.
Okay.
Tadi Dokter bilang we need to have more skills so that the jobs cannot replaceable. So what kind of skill that we need to improve, Dokter?
Okay. Sometimes it depend on what you study, right? So katakanlah you study dalam social science, dalam wartawan, or dalam the most important skill is how you want to capture data. That is the most important skill. Kan, macam mana kita nak dapatkan data and untuk tarik data, kan? This is we call the data skill. Some data that kita analyze is from Twitter, from so on. So this is other algorithm. But another skill what we call that you need to have what we call data science skill lah. So dalam data science ni banyak skill. Skill untuk analyze, skill untuk programming if you want to focus on developing, and skill untuk what we call untuk faham the algorithm. So if you have the data science, this is another perspective because now when talk about AI, when talk about machine learning, you cannot forget the data science. So this data science is applied to many skills, many domains. If you are engineering, let's say engineering, computer science, and so on, that's what we call that is IR 4.0. When we talk about the industrial revolution 4.0, it's not only for the computer science, it's not only for engineering, it's happened to everywhere. So your skill set depend on what you interest. Jangan buat yang tak minat. So buat yang you minat. Kalau you ambil, kalau anda semua ambil dalam course engineering, mungkin kena belajar skill set macam mana how engineering using AI macam kata tadi untuk dapatkan maklumat. So your skill set sama macam itulah. You need to learn tool, Python, R, MATLAB, whatever tool out there. Just go grab it. Now we have online course. Sometimes it's free online course. Just go there. Don't wait whatever teacher teach you in the university, but go beyond that to improve your skill. Yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. So to the student, itu nasihat tadi dari dokter bahwa ikuti pelajaran dari online learning tanpa menunggu teacher to teach you. So you need to learn faster, ya, biar tidak kalah, tidak replace by AI sekarang ya. Okay, so that is very interesting and very easy understandable for the material, doctor. So I think that the students here also can listen very well, because after this they will have assignment based on this material. I think that they will be so easy to assign for the assignment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hope.
yeah.
Saya ucapkan terima kasih daripada saya, berhati saya untuk semua di sana dan kesediaan Universiti Indonesia, Universitas Muhammadiyah Tasikmalaya. Di mana ya? Universiti ini di Jawa kan?
Di Jawa Barat, West Java.
Oh, Jawa Barat. Jawa.
Tasikmalaya, West Java.
Okay. Kalau ada rezeki saya ke sana satu hari nanti.
Oh.
Dan, it's really I really appreciate if you invite me, and I hope all I can understand what I've said, and I open to any question after this. If you want to see email, and just email me anything. I can help. I help whatever I can. Okay, terima kasih ya.
Ya, baik. Sama-sama, dokter. Ya, jadi itu tadi untuk para mahasiswa, student. So you can take note, right? And then after that, you can write down your assignment after this session. So, baik. Terima kasih banyak, Dr. Azwa Aziz, for your very understandable presentation. I hope I will see you again in next occasion, right?